Good evening and welcome to an increasingly important South Division game today between the visiting Staunton Braves and your Covington Lumberjacks. Lumberjacks enter this ball game 3 games back of 4th place in the South Division. That 4th place spot means a playoff berth. For the Lumberjacks, it was a strong going July until the last 2 games have been losses for Covington. Staunton have only lost 2 games for the entirety of July. The Braves enter today's ball game at 20-11, second in the South Division. Covington dead last at 11-19. We'll take a look at the starting lineup for the Staunton Braves. Leading off in center field, the left-handed hitting Jose Vasquez. Batting second, he plays his college ball in Virginia at Liberty University. It's the second baseman, Caleb Williams. Batting third, he leads all of the Valley Baseball League in slugging percentage at .714. It's the left fielder, Julian Braga. Batting fourth in right field, he pitches and he hits. He's been hitting very well this season, leading the Braves in batting average. It's Cooper Mars. Batting fifth from JMU, the left-handed hitting first baseman, Keegan Hassler. Batting sixth, the designated hitter, Braden Trajkovsky. Batting seventh at third base, right-handed hitting Josh Hall. Batting eighth, catching today, also from Liberty University, it's Ethan Barnes. And then rounding out the lineup for the Braves at shortstop, it's Easton Ogle. That's the lineup that'll take on your Covington Lumberjacks. We'll take a quick break. When we return, we'll have a little bit of a pregame chat and then first pitch here at Casey Field. Good evening and welcome back to Casey Field here in Covington, Virginia for today's Valley Baseball League matchup between the visiting Staunton Braves and your Covington Lumberjacks. An ever-important game for the Lumberjacks, who are still in the playoff hunt, even though they're dead last in the South Division. Talked about it a little bit earlier on the broadcast. Staunton enters today's ball game at 20-11, the Lumberjacks at 11-19. Basically, both of these teams having a flip season of the others. Staunton on the road this year is 12-4. The Lumberjacks at home are 6-10. In division, Staunton is 15-10. Covington in division is 10-14. And then against outer division squads, the Braves are 5-1. Covington is 1-5. But for the Lumberjacks this season, they've had good luck against Staunton overall, 3-2. Most recently, when these two teams matched up, it was a few weeks ago. It was July 5th, and it was a forfeit win for Covington. It was a win that sparked some momentum after their July 3rd win, which was a run rule win against Culpeper. They got a forfeit win that Sunday against Staunton, won the next two, and really seemed that the Lumberjacks were coming for a potential fourth-place spot. Since then, it's been two straight losses, one at home against Culpeper, and then one last night on the road against Charlottesville. For Covington, you can talk about all the math you want for what it takes to make it and how many losses it takes for them to get eliminated, but in reality, the one thing that the Lumberjacks need to do is get back on track. They need to continue winning like they were when the playoff hopes were high. 11-19 isn't necessarily a sparkling record, and I'm sure that there are plenty of people around the league that look at the Lumberjacks' resume and think that they will not deserve it, but if they can find their wins with the 6 remaining games they have, the opportunity's there. It's important to note that they play Culpeper twice on Thursday, and then the last game of the season is against Harrisonburg, who's right in front of them. Of course, the Lumberjacks do not control their own destiny, but they can help themselves out a little bit. And the most important thing for helping yourself out, well, it's making sure that you don't lose ball games. Tasked with making sure that the Lumberjacks can stay in front today is Steven Nunez. Steven made one relief appearance at Harrisonburg in that win. Nunez, in that game, didn't get an out. He gave up one run on a walk. Nunez threw 6 total pitches. It was 6 balls, and after the second ball to the second batter he faced, it was game over for Nunez. He gets tasked with a very tough Staunton lineup, who comes into this ball game with the 4th best on-base percentage and the 2nd best slug at .394. In addition to that, they lead the league in home runs with 27. Jose Vasquez, who has 2 home runs, leads off for the Braves. The first pitch from Nunez is a fastball, and Vasquez is way out in front of, hits it off the end of his bat, and pops it over the Staunton dugout. We're underway at 6:33. First pitch strike from Steven Nunez. Nunez working from the stretch. His second pitch is an off-speed that misses inside. 1 ball, 1 strike to Vasquez. Jose Vasquez has had some scuffles this season with the Lumberjacks. Thankfully, nothing really came out of it, but these are two teams that don't really like each other. First game of the season was a win for the Lumberjacks at Staunton, and there's been a lot of animosity between the two teams ever since then. Maybe continuing with that, Vasquez is going to get plunked on the 3rd pitch of the ball game. It's a fastball from Nunez, rides a little bit inside. Staunton have a base runner after only 3 pitches.
Second baseman, number 10, Caleb Williams.
For Vasquez, that's now his 5th hit by pitch. I wouldn't be surprised if more than half of those come against Covington. So with some speed at first base, that'll bring up Caleb Williams. Williams from Liberty University. As immediately going is Jose Vasquez. Throw down from Ambrosio is not in time. It wasn't gloved either by Frankie Clark, so almost immediately a runner in scoring position for the Braves. Both teams today know how to run the bases. Staunton enters today's ball game with 97 stolen bases. They're in 4th place. Team in first is the Lumberjacks with 117. Vasquez now his 18th stolen base of the season. Pitch was away, so the 1-0 is again away. It's 2-0 to Williams. Wonder how short the leash is, for Nunez. I mentioned his debut against Harrisonburg, to where he only pitched to 2 total batters, a walk, and then he got yanked in the middle of the second AB after throwing 2 straight balls. 2-0 the count to Williams. Nunez takes a look back at Vasquez at second base and gets a fastball over the bat of Caleb Williams for strike 1. Williams enters today's ball game with only a .214 batting average, but an OPS well over 800 as he walks, and when he hits the ball, he hits it far. 3-1 the count now as that fastball misses away. Great speed at second base and Vasquez. Staunton looking to put a run up on the board early. The 3-1 to Williams is up and away, and back-to-back batters have reached without a hit for Staunton.
Left fielder number 5, Julian Braga.
An eerily reminiscent game for the Lumberjacks to their last home outing. Against Culpeper, it was 2 walks, or a walk, a hit by pitch, a single, another single, a walk, and 2 more singles in the top of the first inning against Culpeper, which saw the Cavaliers take an early 5-0 lead. Time called is to say that Nunez needs to lock eyes with the batter. That batter, being Julian Braga. Braga leads the VBL in slug at .714. Not necessarily the guy that you want to let come to the plate with runners on first and second. Vasquez is going to take off for third base. Ambrosio's throw is too high. It's a stolen base for Vasquez and Caleb Williams. And just like that, second and third with no outs and a ball to Julian Braga. Nunez looking to find the strike zone. He's got to be careful where he places it. Braga with 6 home runs this season. Swings and misses at a pitch above his head there. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Braga an OPS above 1,000. Reaches base at a .416 clip. He has 18 hits. Of those 18 hits, 14 extra base hits. 1 ball, 1 strike. Braga takes an off-speed that misses below the zone. Now 2 balls, 1 strike. 87 degrees today at Casey Field. Bit of a change from what we've seen, just a day of bright weather. Nunez's 2-1 to Braga. Again missing low and inside. With an open base at first, it's 3 balls, 1 strike to Braga, and no outs here in the top of the first inning. Nunez currently undecided where he's going to play his college ball next season. He's from Miami, Florida. He needs to throw a strike here. It's 3-1 to Braga. Upstairs, back-to-back walks after a hit by pitch to the first batter, and its base is loaded for the Staunton Braves.
Right fielder number 38, Cooper.
We go from the man that leads the Valley Baseball League in slugging percentage to the man that leads the Staunton Braves in batting average. Cooper Mars steps into the batter's box as Jake Ambrosio is talking to Steven Nunez. Cooper Mars on the season, a .367 batting average. Limited in the total hits and at-bats as he's 11 for 30 when you compare that to some of the guys in the Staunton lineup. Most exclusively Keegan Hassler, who has 84 at-bats. The number isn't as alarming, but Coach Tolentino is going to come to the mound and talk to Steven Nunez, and that's going to do it. Steven Nunez, a hit by pitch and 2 walks, and his day is done. Second time this season that a Lumberjacks pitcher at home is unable to get an out. Starting on the mound, out of the bullpen, it's going to be Rayson Miranda to try to set it straight here for the Lumberjacks. No runs have scored for Staunton, but Rayson Miranda will enter the ballgame inheriting Jose Vasquez at third, Caleb Williams at second, and Julian Braga at first base. Take a quick break. When we return, it'll be Racing Miranda on the mound. Welcome back to Casey Field. It's now Racing Miranda on the mound for the Lumberjacks. Miranda from Western Oklahoma State College. He takes over for Steven Nunez, who was unable to get an out. Nunez walked 2 batters and hit 1, so it's bases loaded for the Braves. And again, Racing Miranda on the mound. Lumberjacks enter this ball game 11-19. It's still only 3 games back of the 4th place spot that makes a playoff berth for whoever is in it when the season ends. For the Lumberjacks this season, one stat, I think, defines what happens when they win and what happens when they lose. ERA in their wins, 2.97. ERA in the Lumberjacks' losses, 8.13. Lumberjacks win, they keep the other team from scoring. When they lose, well, let's just say that the other teams have some fun. And I know that that's relatively simple to say, but in reality, there's been plentiful amount of games this season in the VBL where both teams have put up a hectic amount of runs. Lumberjacks just haven't been able to play that style of baseball, so when they win ball games, it's because they've managed the game well. This is another example of nearly letting it go early and what's allowing the Lumberjacks to hang on by a thread here in the top of the first is all going to depend on Racing Miranda. It's Jose Vasquez at third, Caleb Williams at second base, and Julian Braga at first. Cooper Mars in the batter's box. Miranda from the windup. His first pitch is a fastball that gets a swing and a miss from Cooper Mars. Mars from Denison, hometown of Riverside, Illinois. On the season, he has 5 RBIs. SAB, he has an opportunity to nearly double it. 1 to Mars as a slider that misses low and away. Ambrosio likes that slider, and admittedly, it seemed like Nunez in his first at-bat to Vasquez nearly had him 0-2. First pitch strike, and then a slider that just missed inside to Vasquez. The next pitch hit him, and it snowballed from there. Now it's Racing Miranda. His 1-1 to Mars misses way away. It's 2-1. So from 0-1 to 2-1, after 3 runners for Staunton have already reached via free passes. Miranda trying to hone in on the strike zone. It's 2-1. Fastball that misses inside. It's 3-1. Cooper Mars maybe thinking that he doesn't need to swing here. Miranda looking to avoid 3 straight walks. It's going to be grounded out to the shortstop, Castillo. Flips to Frankie Clark at second. His throw to first is in time. It's a 6-4-3 double play as Jose Vasquez crosses home plate to make it 1-0 for Staunton, but Racing Miranda, an ideal ground ball out of the bullpen with the bases loaded and no outs. Picture perfect from Racing Miranda. He'll get Keegan Hassler now with 2 outs and 1 run on the board. When you enter the ballgame with the bases loaded and no outs, it's almost expected that an inherited runner is going to score. That's a perfect trade-off for the Lumberjacks, as they will feel completely fine if they enter the next inning down 1-0. This pitch is going to go to the backstop. Coming home is Julian Braga. Or excuse me, not Julian Braga. It is Caleb Williams who hustles home. And just like that, it's 2-0 for the Braves. And admittedly, that just can't happen. Miranda does his job to a T. And the first batter he faces, and then the first pitch of the next batter, it feels like more of the same, a wild pitch. As Keegan Hassler fouls that one off the glove of Ambrosio, 1 ball, 1 strike. But looks like Miranda had an opportunity to take the Lumberjacks to the bottom of the first inning. Only trailing by 1 run, now it's 2-0 Staunton. 1 ball, 1 strike to Hassler. The pitch is going to be fouled out of play down the left field line. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Just now tuning in, hit by pitch and 2 walks, loaded the bases for Staunton. 6-4-3 double play scored the first run for the Braves, and a wild pitch just scored the second. With 2 outs, the 2-strike pitch to Hassler is lifted lightly into left field, giving chase as Zach Dorlag a couple steps back, turns his hips and makes the catch for out number 3. Headed to the bottom of the first inning, the Staunton Braves lead 2-0. Grayson Miranda does a great job in the top of the first inning to allow the Lumberjacks to enter the bottom of the first, only trailing by 2. It'll be Dario Castillo to lead off for the Lumberjacks, trying to get Covington going in the right direction after a rough top of the first inning. But for Miranda, the focus needs to be on himself as this game goes on. We're going to need to see Miranda throw more than just 1 inning of work today. Lumberjacks had to resort to a position player on the mound yesterday in Mason Reed, and somewhat surprisingly in that game against Charlottesville, even though it was a tough loss for the Lumberjacks. 8-4 to the Tom Sox. Mason Reed went 3 1/3 with 6 strikeouts. He allowed 1 runner to reach and ended up getting cut down on a caught stealing. Lumberjacks need to pick up Grayson Miranda in any way they can. Dario Castillo leading off. First pitch from Owen Pinsence. Misses up and away. Pinsence from Siena. Hails from North Haven, Connecticut. Enters this ballgame with a 12 ERA. 1-0 pitch to Dario Castillo. Again away, it's 2-0. Castillo last night against Charlottesville was 1 for 4 with a walk, but maybe more impressively last time he was at home in the wild game against Culpeper, he was 4 for 6 with a double. Pincence's 2-0 is going to be lined into left field, softly hit enough to where it'll drop down in front of the left fielder, Julian Braga. Dario Castillo is now 5 for his last 7 here at Casey Field, a leadoff single to begin the bottom of the first.
Number 37, Frankie Clark.
To bring up Frankie Clark. Clark in last night's ball game against Charlottesville was 1 for 4 with a strikeout. He hits with great speed at first base. Castillo in limited action in the VBL season has 6 stolen bases. Pincence's first pitch to Clark is a fastball in for strike 1. Clark at a very respectable .299 batting average, doing looking to do anything he can to move Dario Castillo from first, as Castillo's going to look to do it himself. He's going, and he's going to be in plenty of time as the throw down from the catcher Ethan Barnes is up line. A stolen base for Dario Castillo. Now, number 7 for him, and for the Lumberjacks, 118. Continuing to push out that lead for the stolen base category. Pitch was called a strike to Frankie Clark. It's 0-2 to the two-man for the Lumberjacks. Frankie on the season, 18 walks to 9 strikeouts. Going to put the ball in play and possibly advance Castillo. Pinsent's looking for the strikeout, the 0-2. Inside off the glove of Barnes. Barnes sees it back to the backstop as that's a free base for Castillo. And just like that, after a leadoff single for Darrielle, he's all the way to third base on a stolen base and a wild pitch. I imagine that would be a pass ball on the catcher Barnes as it caught off the top of his glove. Barnes already 2 errors on the season, and I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up being his third. After that ball, it's 1-2 to Clark. Here's the pitch from Pinsent. It's another off speed that misses upstairs. 2-2. Frankie progressively getting better as the season's gone on. Started off really well in the on-base percentage category, and he's been hitting the ball very well as of late, too. The 2-2 pitch from Pinsent is a fastball fouled out of play down the right side. It'll stay here. I think what perfectly alludes to Clark's season. He's 1 for 11 on the season against Staunton, but he has 6 walks. Time going to be called by Frankie, as it seems that his elbow guard is getting away from him on that left elbow. And if you're just now joining us, Staunton leads 2-0. Dario Castillo led off for the Lumberjacks with a single, stole, and made his way all the way to third base. Frankie Clark looking to score him here. The 2-2 pitch from Pinsent is grounded to the third baseman Hall. He's going to come up with it and throw out Dario Castillo at home. Return throw to first base is not in time, but a great defensive play by Josh Hall over at third base. And with a runner at third and nobody out, the Lumberjacks don't manage to get a run.
Number 33, Jan Oquendo.
Not the result that you want to see with nobody out and a runner at third. Castillo, an uber aggressive base runner, tried to take advantage of the contact play, and for Josh Hall, perfectly positioned and a great throw as well. Frankie Clark at first base gets checked on there by Owen Pinsent. Clark this season, 9 stolen bases. He's been caught 1 time. As Jan Oquendo is the batter for the Lumberjacks. Oquendo committed to play at Charleston Southern University. Hails from St. John's River State College. First pitch is lined right up the middle. Another hit for the Lumberjacks as Frankie Clark is going to look to go first to third, and he's going to be able to go all the way home. He slides into third base. No. Coach Zarzabal was waving him around all the way, and Clark, not realizing that the ball skipped past the center fielder, Jose Vasquez, slid into third. Oquendo, good job on the bases as he gets to second base, but it should be 1-2. Instead, the score remains 2-0 for Staunton. Zach Dorlag going to look to erase that base running miscue as he bats with Jan Oquendo at second and Frankie Clark at third. Oquendo now 6 for 13 as a Lumberjack. Dorlag yesterday against Charlottesville had a home run. Takes the first pitch off speed for strike 1. Dorlag in his first 14 ABs was 1 for 14, an 0.71 batting average. He's brought that up to 241. He has a 426 slug to go along with it. Love to see him hit for extra bases here as he manages to lay off on an off-speed low and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. This game's had a bit of a wild flavor to it so far. Staunton puts up 2 runs in the first inning on no hits. Lumberjacks have 2 hits here in the bottom of the first. Nobody able to score yet as Jan Oquendo stands at second and Frankie Clark at third. The 1-1 pitch to Dorlag. Fastball yanked low and away. 2 balls, 1 strike. Dario Castillo led off with a single made it all the way to third base and was gunned down at home on a contact play. Frankie Clark reached first on that fielder's choice. The 2-1 to Dorlag is an off-speed in for strike 2. Dorlag may be a bit dismissive of that call, as it looked like it could have been a bit above the letters. Home plate umpire says it's a strike, so now Dorlag is going to have to battle. He has had strikeout issues, 13 on the season. Pinson's looking for one here. Off speed, called strike 3. Looked to be in a similar spot as strike 2. Again, that's one to where I'm sure if you'd ask the batters, it's hard to get a read on where the top of the zone is. Dorlag didn't like strike 2 called, and I'm sure he really didn't like that strike 3 call. An off speed around the letters for strike 3, and out number 2 for Pinson's, looking to strand 3 runners in scoring position in the bottom of the first. First pitch to Luis Acosta's an off speed inside. It gets away from Ethan Barnes. And similar to the top of the first inning, the Lumberjacks score a run on a wild pitch. Crazy how that works. Staunton has the bases loaded. They ground into a double play. You're thinking, man, maybe they only score 1 run, and then a runner scores from third on a wild pitch. When Pinson's gets a big second out with a strikeout, looks like he might be able to strand a runner at third, and he throws a wild pitch. Gets a swing there from Luis Acosta on an off-speed blown away. It's 1-1. Now Acosta looking to tie this ball game with Janaquindo at third. The 1-1 pitch is fouled up on the right side, giving chase as the first baseman Hassler as he looks up, and it goes out of play. Strike 2 for Pinson's. A solid response so far here in the bottom of the first inning for the Lumberjacks, but you don't want to have to be playing behind from the whole game. It'd be nice to tie this ball game up right now. 1-2 pitch to Acosta is an off-speed taken for strike 3. Pinson's strikes out back-to-back batters looking. Not before the Lumberjacks had one on a wild pitch. We head to the top of the second inning. It's Staunton 2, Covington 1. Braden Trevkoski leads off the top of the second inning for Staunton. They lead 2-1 here at Casey Field. And for Mr. Trevkoski, this is a game that might have a little bit of revenge spelled on it. Talked about it a bit earlier in the pregame. Staunton trails the season series 3-2 against Covington. But there's a game in there that doesn't read like the others. On July the 5th, Staunton lost here at Casey Field on a forfeit. And it was technically because of Trevkoski, who steps into the batter's box now. Not his fault, but he had been injured. On the roster, he was still on the injured list. He was put in the starting lineup that day and eligible to play. That led to a win for the Lumberjacks. Rayson Miranda's first pitch to Trevkoski is a ball that misses low and away. Koski still having a monster season for somebody who's been hurt for a little part of it. 1-0 pitch from Miranda is a fastball that catches the outer edge for strike one. For Trav Koski, like many of his teammates, he's hitting for plenty of power. 4 doubles and 3 home runs to be exact. Miranda has him 1-1 here from the windup. The pitch from Miranda is a slider that misses away. 2 balls, 1 strike. Obviously, for a reliever entering out of the bullpen in the first inning and having to get all 3 outs, it's never an easy scenario, but Miranda did his job in the first, and you hope he can continue for a few more innings. This one's going to be hit off the knob of the bat, out to the first baseman, Frado, who picks it up and flips to Miranda, covering first base for out number 1 in the top of the second inning. That'll give us time to talk about the defense for the Lumberjacks. In left field, it's Zach Dorlag. Center field, it's Luis Acosta. And then in right, the best arm in the outfield for the Lumberjacks, Jan Oquendo. He has 1 assist, but in his limited time playing for the Lumberjacks, it's an impressive one. In the infield, from third to short, it's Emery Stevens and Dario Castillo. And then second to first, it's Frankie Clark and Thomas Frado. Behind the dish for the Lumberjacks is Jake Ambrosio. Miranda's first pitch is an off-speed in for a strike to Josh Hall. Miranda quickly ready. His 0-1 pitch is going to be fouled on the ground past the first base's coach's box. Quickly 0-2. Josh Hall, not scared to strike out, enters today's ball game with 20 strikeouts in 61 at-bats. A third of Josh Hall's outs are strikeouts. Miranda looking to add another, and he'll get it there. 3-pitch see ya to Josh Hall, and 2 down here in the top of the second inning.
The catcher, number 30, Ethan Barnes.
Miranda this season for the Lumberjacks has been silently very solid. He enters today's ballgame with a 6 ERA, but that was 3 innings of 2-run baseball in a relief appearance similar to this one. Ethan Barnes now the batter. First pitch to Barnes is going to clip off the elbow guard. It's a hit by pitch. Second of the ball game for the Braves. And not necessarily a hit by pitch you want to give up, but also not the worst spot to give it up. It's one thing if it's a leadoff guy to start an inning. It's another if it's with 2 outs and all the bases clear. Important thing for Miranda is to forget about that hit by pitch and continue to the next batter, who's Easton Ogle. First pitch to Ogle is a slider in for strike 1. That was beautiful. For a second, I was scared. It looked like the same pitch that he threw to Barnes, and it looked like it was going to clip Ogle, but it was an off speed that he started at about the shoulder of Ogle, and it dropped in for a strike. It's going to check on Barnes over there at first base. He's back in standing. Now Miranda's set. And Miranda's going to, wow. No, they're going to call a balk on Miranda. And funnily enough, Barnes didn't even realize it, but Miranda did a great job being imposed on the mound, as bouncing over there at first base was Ethan Barnes, but with his teammates yelling at him to step off and throw over and get Barnes out, who had taken a massive lead, basically trying to read the timing of Miranda. Miranda just straight up fired to first. He didn't step off, so that's a balk that allows Barnes to reach second base. The 0-1 to Ogle is going to be 0-2 as home plate umpire says he went. Another off speed from Miranda, and funnily enough, it doesn't look like Miranda should really worry about Barnes, as he's got full control of this at bat. Ethan Barnes at second base. Easton Ogle trying to battle out an 0-2 hole. Miranda from the stretch is 0-2 pitch. Hit high into center field. Coming in on it is Luis Acosta, and that is out number 3 here in the top of the second inning. Head to the bottom of the second. Staunton leads 2-1. Jose Alfonso leads off the bottom of the second inning for the Lumberjacks.
Hitter number 12, Jose Alfonso.
Grayson Miranda puts up a scoreless 0 in the top of the second inning. Good opportunity for the Lumberjacks to get one more and tie this ball game up. Pincett's first pitch to Alfonso misses upstairs. 1 ball, no strikes. 6-7-8 for the Lumberjacks, who have the only 2 hits of today's ball game. Off speed in for a strike. It's 1 ball, 1 strike now. This game has been scripted similar to how many of the other Lumberjacks games have played. 1-1 to Alfonso is going to be fouled straight back out of play. 1-2. Lumberjacks have a league best .236 batting average against, but it's not the hits that hurt them. It's the walks and the hit by pitches, and that's what Staunton has taken advantage of today. Pinsett is 0-1 to Alfonso. Fastball upstairs. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Alfonso, a Lumberjacks veteran. Multiple years here. He's had 16 at-bats so far this season, where he's 4 for 16. 2-2 pitch from Pinsett. An off-speed taken away. Count goes full. Alfonso last played in the game against Culpeper. He was 2 for 6 with an RBI and a double. He did strike out 3 times. Pincett's payoff pitch is going to be grounded foul down the third base line. It just skipped to the left of the bag. Alfonso must have knew it, as he never let go of the bat. But it seemed to be he was an inch away from what would have been his 4th double of the season. Just a long foul that Pinsett, I'm sure, is ignoring. Here's another full count pitch. Fastball taken low. Alfonso has a walk to lead off the bottom of the second inning. Alfonso, 1 stolen base on the season. I consider him more of an intelligent runner and a tricky runner than I would a speedy runner. But it's tough to say, as mainly all the Lumberjacks look to run. Pincett's first pitch to Thomas Fratto misses low and away. 1 ball, no strikes. Fratto, similar to Zach Dorlag in his struggles early on the season, has seemed to figure it out as of late. On the season against Staunton, he's 0 for 4. Last time out against Culpeper, he was 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a walk. Alfonso going to take off for second base as it's a hit and run that Fratto misses, but Barnes doesn't get it gloved cleanly, so it'll end up being a stolen base for Jose Alfonso. Lumberjacks are a team that really play with a aggressive, put-together runs mentality. Not looking for the big swing, but looking for the manufactured run. Alfonso now at second base as Fratto launches one into right field. He got that one right in his grill. He just was way out in front. A long strike two. So now it's 1-2 strikes. Fratto looking to avoid his 17th strikeout of the season. The 1-2 pitch. Fouled towards Emery Stevens in the on-deck circle. It'll stay at 1-2. Pinson's got the latter 2 outs of the bottom of the first inning, both backwards Ks to Zach Dorlag and Luis Acosta. He looks for his first strikeout of a lefty here. The 1-2 pitch to Fratto, grounded to the first baseman, foul. Hassler's going to receive that one in foul territory. Good job by Fratto to stay alive. Fratto from Massachusetts. He's a guy with plenty of ball knowledge. Yesterday in the dugout, me and him were firing off MLB names in a game called the Name Game. I'll explain that after this pitch. Pinson's again looking for the strikeout. Here's the 1-2. Fouled back my way. 1-2 strikes. The Name Game is a game to where you look to name MLB players and you go based off the first letter of the last name. So if I say Jose Reyes, then the next person would have to respond with a big leaguer with an R name, and it would just continue from there. Me and Fratto went for what felt about a whole inning and a half. Pinson's looking for a big K here. The 1-2 pitch. Fouled off again. You'll notice that in the strikeouts that Pinson's had in the first inning, neither were of the swing variety. Lumberjacks, when they've swung the bat today, have done well to make contact. Fratto going to continue to look to do that here. The 1-2, take it up and away. Great take by Fratto, who now battles back to even. 2-2 strikes. Jose Alfonso at second base, representing the tying run. He walked and stole second. Pinson gets his sign from Barnes. Another pitch. Again away. It's a full count now. You can tell Pinson's is increasingly frustrating as it seemed that he was near to balking there. He got a sign and he went immediately. Umpires were disinterested in giving that. Fratto from 1-2 to 3-2. The pitch is an off-speed right down the middle for strike 3. Pinson's now 3 strikeouts, all 3 of the looking variety.
Number 24, Emery Stevens.
And 1 out now in the bottom of the second inning. Emery Stevens steps into the batter's box. Stevens has also been bitten by the strikeout bug. At 34 ABs, he has 15 strikeouts. Alfonso going to take off for third base. He got great timing. A pitch in the dirt, and Alfonso is going to be up into third standing. Lumberjacks stealing around the base pass, putting themselves in prime scoring position once more. All Stevens needs to do is possibly put the ball in play. 1-0 pitch. He's going to do just that, but it's going to go foul. It looked like it hit in the in the left-handed batter's box, checked up in fair territory, and then zoomed a little bit to the right. Soft foul ball. It's 1-1. Really seemed that the pitch that Pinson has been anchoring on early is that off speed. He's not scared to put it right down the middle, but Lumberjacks batters have been unable to get a good read on it. 1-1 strike to Stevens. Jose Alfonso at third base. Be wary of a wild pitch. Lumberjacks have already scored 1 run via that. Stevens, uninterested in a wild pitch. He lines this one into the left center gap. Jose Alfonso will score, and Emery Stevens, an RBI single to knot the ball game up 2 apiece. Just mentioned that off speed that Pinson had really been going to. On the 1-1 pitch to Stevens, he hangs it again, and this time you see a Lumberjacks batter swinging. Stevens gets enough of the barrel on it to lift it into left center field, and it drops down in front of Braga and Vasquez. Tie ball game, and now Jake Ambrosio batting First pitch to Ambrosio is a fastball that misses low and away. Stevens, 4 stolen bases this season. Saw Alfonso able to time up Pinson's pretty well. You wonder if Stevens is thinking about doing that. 1-0 pitch to Ambrosio. Is Stevens going to stop and go? Ambrosio fouls this one towards the right side and out of play. Ambrosio, it's been a tough go of things in his last 9 ABs. Came into the game against Front Royal batting a respectable 250. It's down to 172. As Stevens seems to have something caught up in his eye. Ambrosio did seem to be feeling better in the latter half of the Culpeper game. Into that one 0 for 2 with 2 walks. And with the game scoring opportunity on the line, just didn't get enough of a ball hit to center field. He was the last out of that game against Culpeper. Looking to right his wrongs here. The 1-1 pitch for Pinson says Stevens is going to take off. Looked like another hit and run that was on. Ambrosio got enough of the fastball to foul it back. Pinson has him 1-2. Ambrosio had Eckerd this most recent season was a 286 hitter. As a check on Stevens at first base, he's backsliding head first. Summer ball is sometimes a monster and sometimes an angel in disguise. Some people it takes a while to get going. Other times you start off hot and you just lose that. Ambrosio looks at a pitch low and away as Stevens is practically up in standing. He slides head first, but he had no reason to do so. Ethan Barnes practically conceded that base. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Ambrosio, who now hits with Emery Stevens in scoring position. Does a good job to reach an off speed on the outer half of the zone. Fouls it up into the netting. Count stays here, 2-2. Ambrosio, 2 RBIs on the season. Stevens, 7 runs, excuse me. 2-2 pitch to Ambrosio. Swing and a miss, off speed in the dirt. Barnes makes a throw down to first base. Makes sure to watch Stevens back at second. And that's out number 2 in the bottom of the 2nd inning. First swinging strikeout for Pinson's.
Number 2, Dario Castillo.
It's now Dario Castillo bats with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position. Castillo, continuing to stay hot at home, is now 5 for his last 7 at Casey Field. A single here would most likely mean a lead for the Lumberjacks. Pitch from Pinson's is launched into right center field. Looking up is Cooper Mars, and that ball is just going to have a little bit too much air underneath it. No, Mars drops it. Mars was underneath it. He took his eyes off the baseball, and it was in and out of the glove. An error on Cooper Mars, and the Lumberjacks take the lead. Dario Castillo up into second base. Emery Stevens crossed home, and it's 3-2 Lumberjacks.
Second baseman, number 37, Frankie Clark.
Mars tracked it pretty well. I mentioned how high that ball was hit. Not much wind here today. It just seemed that he tried to catch the ball a little bit too low and trying to look it into the glove. Almost lost it as it fell out of his glove. Frankie Clark, second time today batting with Dario Castillo in scoring position. 1-0 the count. It is now the 43rd unearned run scored against the Staunton Braves. As Castillo is going to take off for third. Frankie Clark's just going to let him go down, and he's going to be up in. Plenty of time. Dario Castillo, second stolen base of the ball game. Didn't seem to time that all too well, but Barnes skipped in the throw, and it ended up going high on the third baseman, Josh Hall. The pitch missed inside to Clark. Here's the 2-0 from Pinson's. It's an off-speed that misses away. Clark, his first time up, grounded out to the third baseman, Hall, who didn't throw to first. He threw home to cut down Dario Castillo. Clark ended up coming around to score on a wild pitch later in the inning. Here's the free strike on the 3-0 count. Fastball right down the middle. Now 3-1. Clark, 7 RBIs on the season. See if he can get around on a Pinson's off speed. The 3-1 is a fastball that misses upstairs. Clark has his 19th walk, and it's now runners on the corners for Giannaquindo. Before that time, going to be called by the head man for Staunton. And with an arm warming in the left field bullpen, you wonder if that might do it for Pinsent's. If that is the day for Pinsent's, you can't help but feel bad. It seemed like he was out of the bottom of the second inning, only leaving the game tied. Ball dropped in right field by Cooper Mars. Lumberjacks have taken the lead, and now he gets the dangerous Giannaquindo, who's seen one pinch today against Pinsent's, and he launched it right back up the middle for a hard-hit single. Conversation being had, and you wonder if it revolves around the open base at second. Decision about what they want to do if Frankie Clark takes off. Lumberjacks have already stolen 5 stolen bases in 1 2/3 innings. Their game high was 15 in a game earlier this season. The game continues with this current trend. It would smash that total out of the park. See what Frankie Clark's thinking about doing at first. Dario Castillo at third has good speed, as home plate umpire is going to rule a ball on Pinsent's, who didn't make eye contact with Aquino before coming set. So Aquino already a 1-0 count. Dario Castillo at third, Frankie Clark at first. The 1-0 is going to be grounded softly to the third baseman Hall. It gets under his glove, and it's the second error of the inning for the Braves. Dario Castillo comes home to score. It's Covington 4, Staunton 2. I'm sure that Owen Pinsent is simply thinking, what am I supposed to do? Soft hit ground ball that Hall tried to play the hop and hit off the bottom part of his glove and just stuck right by him. Now Zach Dorlag in the batter's box, swinging on a first pitch off speed. Hall's going to get a second chance. This time he gloves it cleanly, nearly eats up Hassler on the throw, who has to go into a crisscross applesauce position, but he makes the play. 2 errors score 2 runs for the Lumberjacks in the bottom of the second inning. 3 in total for the Lumberjacks. We head to the top of the third inning. Lumberjacks lead 4-2. It's not entirely atypical for Staunton to have the defensive woes that they've seen so far in today's ball game. They're now up to 44 unearned runs allowed on the season and a total of 51 errors. And that's not a great amount. But the difference is Staunton usually is hitting to erase those errors. With their first 9 batters, they had a 4-man reach, 2 of them scored, but no hits so far. Into the top of the third, Jose Vasquez leads off. His first AB, he got hit. He faces Rayson Miranda for the first time. Simple question mark that reigns in the minds of the people watching this ball game and mine is Staunton going to start hitting, or have the Lumberjacks figured something out against the best slugging team in the South Division? First pitch was a ball to Vasquez. Miranda quickly up. Here's the second. Another ball as that one misses upstairs. Vasquez, who stands at around 5'6", has got to be one of the most difficult guys to pitch to. He has a .390 on base percentage, 19 walks, 4 hit by pitches, now 5 after his one in the first inning. 2-0. Thinking hit all the way on the 2-0 pitch as he lines it foul on the left field line. Miranda gets a strike, gets 2 balls, 1 strike. Vasquez hit on the 3rd pitch of the ball game, stole 2nd, stole 3rd, eventually ended up scoring on a 6-4-3 double play. 2-1 pitch to Vasquez. He's going to show bunt. Stevens was back. Now he'll play in as the fastball missed up and away to Vasquez. 3-1. Stevens actually still playing a bit off the third base bag and above it. See if Vasquez is thinking bunt, the 3-1 pitch. Now he's thinking swing. He's going to foul it over the dugout on the third base side. It's a full count. Miranda, entering his now 3rd inning of work, hasn't allowed a hit. He's only allowed 1 runner to reach, and that was via a hit by pitch. Looking to avoid his 2nd runner. The full count pitch to Vasquez, an off speed that misses upstairs. Vasquez leads off with a walk here in the top of the 3rd inning. Vasquez, who now has 19 stolen bases on the season, is not necessarily the guy that you want to walk to lead off an inning. Of course, every single pitching coach in the world will tell you that one of the worst things in baseball is a leadoff walk. Miranda going to have to do work here. Now he's got to focus on Caleb Williams, who also walked in the 1st inning. More importantly, has to focus on the speed of Jose Vasquez at first. Vasquez stays put as the first pitch is a fastball that catches the inside corner. 0-1 to Caleb Williams. Miranda hit Ethan Barnes in the top of the 2nd inning and then allowed him to take 2nd on a balk. He had him picked off, but just didn't step off the mound. 0-1 to Williams is going to be lined past the 2nd baseman, Frankie Clark. Playing it on the ground is Aquindo. As the Braves have their first hit of the ball game, Jose Vasquez moves up to 2nd base. Caleb Williams a single, and it's now 1st and 2nd for Julian Braga.
Left fielder number 5, Julian Braga.
And it feels like we're doing the top of the 1st inning over again, just with different stipulations for how the guys reach base. Braga came up in the top of the 1st with Vasquez at 2nd and Williams at 1st. Vasquez ended up stealing 3rd, and Williams followed suit. Braga batted with an open base at 1st. He eventually ended up getting walked. Miranda's 0-0 to Braga. Slider for strike 1. Tying run now at first base after the Lumberjacks put up 3 in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Braves looking to answer right back, and they have the man to do so. Braga, a .714 slugging percentage, leads all the Valley Baseball League. Miranda's 0-1. It's going to be fouled underneath Braga and towards the backstop. It's quickly 0-2. Miranda was very cool entering out of the bullpen with bases loaded and no outs. Faces a less stressful situation here in the top of the 3rd, but the difference is those runners go to Miranda's stat line, so I'm sure that he's thinking about it a little bit more. There's the opportunity to put down Braga on strikes. Here's the 0-2. It's going to miss inside. Vasquez has been very complacent at 2nd base. Williams behind him will most likely just be reading off of Vasquez. For Miranda, in a 2-strike count, your focus really has to be on the batter. The 1-2 from Miranda is going to be lifted into left center field, giving chase to Zach Dorlag. It'll fall in front of him. Dorlag going to come up, throwing to Dario Castillo. Castillo might have a play at the plate. Vasquez is in plenty of time. An RBI single for Julian Braga. And after the Lumberjacks took a 2-run lead, it's back to 1 run. Covington 4, Staunton 3.
Right fielder number 38, Cooper Mars.
After 2 innings of hitless baseball for Staunton, they've come out the gates here in the top of the 3rd with a walk and 2 singles. Cooper Mars grounded it into a double play in the top of the 1st inning. Miranda looking to get that result here. Mars is going to launch one into left field, giving chase is Dorlag. Looking up, it's off the wall. Don't like having trouble coming up with it as Williams comes around to score. Moving to third base is Braga. It's an RBI double for Cooper Mars. And just like that, this ball game's tied up. Randy Tolentino now going to go out to the mound, and I wonder if that might do it for Rayson Miranda. This is honestly unusual for Lumberjacks pitching. As of late, when runs have been put up on the board, it's not due to hits, but instead simply because of walks. That's how Staunton put up 2 in the top of the first. 3 straight hits for the Braves, and it's 4-4. Looks like Miranda's going to stay in this ball game. Open base at first, and Cooper Mars at second. Julian Braga at third. Wonder what the approach is here for the Lumberjacks. Which out are they most interested in? And are they thinking about possibly utilizing that open base at first? Doesn't seem to be much action in the Lumberjack bullpen. This is Rayson Miranda's ball game. Hassler in his first AB flew out to end the top of the first. Pitch from Miranda is going to hit him on the knee. Guess that answers the question about the open base at first. Bases loaded now for the Braves. And Braden Trafkowski now the batter. Trafkowski grounded out to Thomas Fratto his first time up. You hope if he grounds out to somebody this inning, it's a little bit more direct. It was a soft hit ground ball to Fratto. If he did that this time, it would most likely only result in 1 out. Fratto is playing in at his first base position. Everybody else on the infield is playing back. Trafkowski looking for RBIs 14 and more. The 0 pitch from Miranda, skied up on the infield. It's going to trail foul towards the Braves dugout, out of play for strike 1. Entering this ballgame, Miranda had a 6 ERA in 3 innings. But it was similar to the rest of the Lumberjacks bullpen. It was the walks that were hurting him. The 0-1 to Trafkowski is an off-speed that misses away. Here in the top of the third, it's been 3 hits for the Braves, and now a hit by pitch. All around a leadoff walk to tie this ball game up. 1-0 to Trafkowski. Hit shallow left field, coming in as Dorlag, and it'll drop down. Dorlag, a great throw to the plate, is going to hold Cooper Mars at third. Julian Braga comes around to score. It's 5-4 Staunton.
Third baseman Josh Hall.
Station-to-station baseball for Staunton. Josh Hall steps in the batter's box. The only strikeout today for Rayson Miranda, but doesn't look like Miranda's going to get another chance at him. Coach Randy Tolentino going to take a couple of steps to the mound, and Miranda's day is done after 2 innings of work. We'll take a quick break. When we return, it's Carlos Manzueta out of the bullpen for the Lumberjacks. First time through the order, Lumberjacks didn't allow Staunton to get a hit. The Braves did reach base 4 times with walks and hit by pitches. Second time through the order, a different story. 4 for 4 with a walk and a hit by pitch. And Carlos Manzueta, the new pitcher for the Lumberjacks, he enters with the bases loaded and no outs. You don't like this type of bounce-back ball game. Lumberjacks trailing 2-0 early, put a run up on the board in the bottom of the first. A scoreless top of the second allowed them to put up 3 in the bottom of the second and take a 2-run lead. Staunton has immediately responded with 3 runs of their own. One teammate gives way to another. Grayson Miranda's day is done. He goes 2 innings of 4 hit, 3 run, 1 walk, 1 strikeout baseball. It's Carlos Manzueta who takes over. Manzueta has been red hot as of late. Let's see if he can escape this jam without allowing the maximum of those 3 runners on base. First pitch to Josh Hall is a fastball that misses away. For Manzueta, we've had this conversation, and he seemed to answer the question. If he throws strikes, yes, he is very deadly. 1-0 pitch to Hall, fastball that misses low and away. Manzueta doesn't like it. It's 2-0. Carlos on the season still a 10.54 ERA, but his last 4 innings have been scoreless. 2-0 pitch to Hall. Fouled back into the netting. It's 2 balls, 1 strike. What has really made Manzueta an effective pitcher isn't just the fastball that sits around 93 to 95 miles per hour, but he adds a slider that he's figured out, and he's been able to throw it first strike. Does have a changeup as well. 2-1 pitch to Hall. Swing and a miss at a fastball up in the zone from 2-0 to 2-2. Pretty simple algorithm here for Manzueta. You strike out the guys. That's the best thing you can do. For Hall, that's the last thing you want to do. 2-2 pitch from Manzueta. Fastball taken up and away. It's a full count. Manzueta, a very fast tempo at the moment. Not taking much time to breathe. He's got to realize that a walk here makes it a 2-run lead for the Braves. The pitch, swinging a foul tip in and out of the glove of Ambrosio. It'll remain a full count. So far, all fastballs to Josh Hall. Hall, who enters today's ball game with 12 RBIs, bats with the bases loaded and no outs. Another full count pitch for Manzueta. A fastball that misses away. A bases loaded walk makes it 6-4 Staunton. That run will go to the tally of Grayson Miranda, whose total allowed now is 4 runs.
Catcher Ethan Barnes.
Ethan Barnes now steps in the batter's box. Barnes, first time up, got hit by a pitch. Think it's strikeout or double play here if you're Manzueta. The 0-0. Fastball that's going to be lined foul over the Covington bullpen. No balls, 1 strike. Feels like another inning for the Lumberjacks where the defenders are just kind of standing out there hoping that the pitcher can figure it out. A 1 pitch for Manzueta. This is up and in. 1-1. But to recap, it was a walk to Jose Vasquez, a single by Caleb Williams, a single by Julian Braga, a double by Cooper Mars. That one was off the wall. Hit by pitch to Keegan Hassler, a single for Brandon Trevkowski, and now a walk for Josh Hall to make it 4 runs in the inning. 1-1 pitch to Ethan Barnes. He swings and misses on a fastball up and away. 1-2. Manzueta had Josh Hall in a 2-2 count. He has command here against Ethan Barnes. He's only shown fastballs. I wonder if he's thinking about the slider. It's risky with that runner at third. The 1-2. Fastball that misses away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Barnes, 31 ABs. He only has 2 RBIs. Manzueta looking for the strikeout. The 2-2 pitch. Taken downstairs. Another full count. Lumberjacks playing what is their second game of 7 games this week. They have a doubleheader on Thursday against Culpeper, their last game Saturday. Full count pitch. Going to be lofted shallow left field, and it's going to drop right over the head of the shortstop Castillo. Station to station baseball continues for the Braves as that one dropped in a perfect position. Coming around to score is Keegan Hassler. Everybody else moves up a bag. Staunton now 7, Covington 4.
Shortstop Easton Ogle.
Snuggle bats with the bases loaded and no outs. First pitch, he's going to foul up in the right side, up into the netting. The ball is 1 strike. Quickly warming up in the Lumberjacks bullpen, it looks like Danny Peruke, maybe. Pitched a couple of innings last night against Charlottesville. A 1 pitch to Ogle, a swing and a miss. There's a slider from Mansueta. The ball's 2 strikes. Both runs that have scored with the bases loaded since Mansueta has entered the ball game have gone to the tally of Rayson Miranda. He's now up to 5 earned. Last runner he accounts for is the runner at second. The runner at third, and Braden Travkoski. Ogle makes contact there, fouling that one out of play. Count remains 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes. Mansueta again looking for the strikeout. The pitch misses downstairs. This is one of the situations to where you really don't know what to say for the pitcher. He's had 2 strike counts to each of his 3 batters that he's faced. Unable to get the outs, but still enter the ballgame with the bases loaded and no outs. That's not an easy situation. Ogle's going to ground it out to the shortstop Castillo, who has to range to his right, makes a throw on the run, and gets the first out of the inning. Braden Travkoski comes around to score. It's 8-4 Staunton. Easton Ogle, 6-3 RBI ground out, and with 1 out, the Braves have batted around.
Center fielder Jose Vasquez.
Well, 6 runs this inning have gone to the tally of Rayson Miranda. Now Carlos Mansueta pitching for himself here. The 0-0 is a fastball that misses low and away. Pretty remarkable inning for Staunton. 1 ball, no strikes. Second pitch to Vasquez. It's an off-speed that's going to kick away from Ambrosio. He thought he had it gloved, and this will allow Josh Hall to score with ease. Now 7 runs in the inning, and the first to Mansueta. It's funny, Staunton had probably one of their worst games in their history 2 days ago. Against Charlottesville, they lost 21-0. Bring a little bit of that back here in this top of the third. Vasquez fouls this one out of play over the left side. It's 2 balls, 1 strike. Mansueta just looking to keep it in the strike zone. The 2-1 spiked away in front of the plate. Staying put at third base is Barnes, as Ambrosio got up quick enough to scare Barnes from running in. Either way, it's another ball. 3-1. Mansueta entered in a practically unbearable position for a pitcher. Bases loaded, no outs, and I'd say a bit unsurprisingly, the Braves have continued to put it on. 3-1 pitch to Vasquez, going to be grounded towards the second baseman Clark. He's going to go to the plate. It's going to skip off the glove of Ambrosio and allow Barnes to score. Ambrosio went for the tag before he really had it in his glove. Although I'll be a bit honest, I think Clark was better suited just taking the free out at first base. That'll likely go down as an RBI fielder's choice for Vasquez. 8 runs in the inning. It is now 10-4 Staunton. Caleb Williams bats with Jose Vasquez over at first. First pitch to Williams is lined into left field. The hit parade continues. Vasquez going to be held at second base as Dorlight comes up with it quickly. And you wonder how Staunton has gotten themselves to 20-11, and I talked about how their defense has been pretty unremarkable. 3 errors in this ball game, 2 have allowed unearned runs to score, and you're thinking, if this is the brand of baseball Staunton plays, how do they get their wins? Well, it's because they have innings like this. Now 6 hits in the inning. A pitch to Braga is low and away. Braga today is 1 for 1 with a walk. Second time he bats here in the third inning. Time taken is home plate umpire signaling that Manzueta needs to make eye contact with the batter. It's a warning for Manzueta, so it will not result in another ball. Is 1-0 to Braga. Taken downstairs, 2 balls, no strikes. Still nobody up and warming in the Lumberjacks bullpen, and they don't really have any room to allow another pitcher to throw. Is Manzueta going to get called for a ball? It's now 3-0 to Braga, as again he didn't make eye contact with Braga at the plate. Wonder if Braga's in swing mode here with the amount of runs they've already scored. Yes, he is. Fouls that one up and over the Staunton dugout. 3 balls, 1 strike. Looks like Darius Brown's going to be the arm up and warming for the Lumberjacks. Darius, an outfielder this season for the Lumberjacks, but he played as a two-way at Maryland Eastern Shore, and that's going to be called ball 4 on Manzueta, as again he didn't make eye contact with the batter. Nobody going to talk to Manzueta. I guess they expect that he's going to figure this out himself. Braga walks, and it's bases loaded for Cooper Mars. Cooper Morris today is 1 for 2 with a double play and a double. Takes a first pitch fastball inside. 1 ball, no strikes. The 1-0 from Manzueta. Misses low, and it's 2-0. Mars' double came in this inning, and it just missed being a home run. Hit off the middle of the left field wall. Manzueta's 2-0. Fastball misses low and away. It's 3-0. Only 1 out here in the top of the third inning. Staunton has already put up 8 runs, 6 hits. 4 more runners have reached on free passes. And Jose Vasquez on base, who reached on a fielder's choice. That fastball called a strike. It's 3-1 to Mars. Bases loaded. 3-1 pitch to Mars. Fastball fouled straight back. It's 3-2. Jose Vasquez at third base. Caleb Williams at second. Julian Braga at first. Only out this inning is to the 9-man in the batting order, Easton Ogle. Manzueta looking for the second out. The 3-2 pitch is over the head of Mars. Another bases loaded walk makes it 9 runs in the inning and 11 total for Staunton. It is now 11-4.
First baseman, Keegan Haysler.
Coach Tolentino going to step to the mound, and that'll most likely do it for Manzueta. Carlos enters the ball game With the bases loaded and no outs, manages to get one out and allows 3 runs to score. Bases loaded for Darius Brown out of the bullpen when we return. Darius Brown, the man on the mound for the Lumberjacks. He faces Keegan Hassler with the bases loaded. And the best way to summarize this inning for the Lumberjacks, bad. 9 runs so far for Staunton, as now they face the semi-position player in Darius Brown. His first pitch to Hassler is away, ball 1. Darius, Maryland Eastern Shore. His 1-0 pitch, swing and a miss from Hassler. 1-1. Darius was a 2-8 Maryland Eastern Shore. Even pitched in a game against Arkansas. Hasn't pitched all summer. Gets an opportunity here as Lumberjacks are trailing badly. This one's going to be popped out of play on the left side. It's 1-2 to Hassler. Yesterday it was a position player for the Lumberjacks and Mason Reed who started riding the ship. He went 3 1/3 with 6 strikeouts and faced the minimum. 1-2 pitch to Hassler, taken in the dirt. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Mason was a pitcher his freshman year of college. Darius, again, a 2-way player at Maryland Eastern Shore, getting a chance to pitch here in the summer. 2-2 pitch to Hassler. It's going to be fouled straight back. We'll stay here at 2-2. Similar situation to yesterday's ball game. In the situation that Darius enters, it's a 7-run game. If he can escape this without allowing any more runs, you think about riding him and then maybe bringing in another reliever. But if it gets worse, who knows who comes in next. 2-2 pitch to Hassler, misses low and away. It's a full count. For Staunton, this is an inning that I'm sure they've been waiting to have for a while. Not only did they lose 21-0 2 days ago, but their only other loss in July, the forfeit loss here at Casey Field. Brown looking for an important second out of the inning. The full count pitch misses away. Another walk. It is now a 12-4 Staunton. Braden Trefkowski now the batter for the Braves. Today Trefkowski is 1 for 2 with a ground out and a single. And if you hear me say that they got a hit this inning, or excuse me, if they have a hit, it came in this inning. All of Staunton's hits in this top of the third, they've had 6 of them. Darius is 0 to Trefkowski, misses inside, 1 ball, no strikes. Run totals continue to rack up for the Braves. It's already 12 runs here in the top of the third. 1-0 inside, it's 2-0. This inning has gotten so bad that the scoreboard is having to shuffle a 1 and a 0 to show how many runs Staunton scored. 2-0 pitch to Trefkowski. Taken low, 3 balls, no strikes. For Darius, he's out there throwing like a true pitcher. You don't want him to throw too many pitches and put his arm in agony. I'd almost prefer if he just lobbed him in there and let the Braves get themselves out. 3-0 pitch to Trefkowski. He's swinging, lines it foul down the left field line. Not many options left in the Lumberjacks bullpen. The only one that's well rested is Quinton Wright, and you prefer that he's used as a closer or high leverage guy. Save him for the 5 games remaining this week. 3-1 pitch to Trefkowski. Misses low. It's another bases loaded walk, and it's 13-4 Staunton. Again, now the only thing that you hope is that Darius is able to keep himself healthy. Position players pitching are a fun thing, and it brings a spark to games like this, but you don't want the competitiveness to blindside the fact that he's throwing. This one's going to be popped up into right field. Jay Anaquindo is there. That's out number 2 here in the top of the third. Josh Hall swinging first pitch. In an inning that Staunton has seen 11 runs scored, he breaks up a streak of 4 straight walks. Now Ethan Bard's bats. He singled earlier this inning. Before that, he was hit in the top of the second. He was a lone base runner to reach. Got stranded at second base. Oh, pitch from Brown. Takes it inside. The only part about this is it's kind of curious in terms of how this game is going to go. Lumberjacks have been putting runs on the board coming into this inning. Run in the first and 3 in the second. Off speed drops in for strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike to Barnes. The only thing that makes me question the realistic possibility of a comeback here is the fact that Staunton still has a majority of their roster, and I imagine their bullpen is relatively well rested. 1 ball, 1 strike. The pitch to Barnes inside. 2-1. In this league, good teams have their players stick around. Lumberjacks have seen their numbers dwindle down as the season's gone on. Staunton at 20-11 just kind of stuck there. Off speed misses low. 3 balls, 1 strike. And you can't discredit the Braves. They've been winning all season long, and if you're a player playing in summer baseball, I'm sure it feels a lot more fun to be on a winning team than a losing team. 3-1 pitch to Barnes. He's going to line one up the middle, and on it's Luis Acosta. It drops in. Coming around to score is Cooper Mars. Keegan Hassler behind him is in plenty of time. It is 15-4 Staunton. Easton Ogle bats. He represents one of the outs in this inning.
Easton Ogle.
He grounded out to Dario Castillo. Brown just looking to push this game into the farther innings. The 0-0 is going to be lightly hit into right center field. Coming in on its Janaquindo, it'll drop right in front of him. Coming around to score is Braden Shrevkoski. It is 16-4 Staunton. Easton Ogle adds a hit. Now, everybody today for Staunton has reached base. Now batting for the third time this inning is Jose Vasquez. Vasquez a walk and a fielder's choice. He's going to line one into left center field. Another soft hit for the Braves. Ethan Barnes going to come around from second and score. The first pitch swing. Singles in a run. It's 17-4. This makes me think of the movie Heat. There's a specific scene in that. There's a shootout in the movie to where if you ever look at the comment section of a post about the movie or critics talking about it, they'll go, the Marine instructors always show the Marines this scene because Val Kilmer reloads the gun with perfection. I wonder if baseball coaches will take this inning and say, this is what station-to-station baseball looks like. This is what you're supposed to do. Staunton has just been hitting them where they ain't and then walking when they need to. Look up at the score and you see 15 runs in an inning as the 1-0 is going to be lined into shallow left field. It's going to be a single for Caleb Williams as Easton Ogle is held at third base. But I'm sure lots of coaches dream about having innings like this. Right now, the Lumberjacks are just getting the treatment that the Charlottesville Tom Sox gave to the Staunton Braves a couple days ago. Reminder, Staunton had a bad loss. They lost 21-0 at Charlottesville. Right now, it's the Lumberjacks getting that treatment. Braga bats for the fourth time today, third time this inning as he takes the ball low. Today, Braga's walked twice and singled. Only one extra base hit in an inning that has seen 15 runs. 17 in total for Staunton. 1-0 to Braga, he takes up and away. And again, I mentioned this, and it's important to note, as much as you want Darius to have fun out there, he's thrown a lot of pitches this inning, and at what point do you say it's enough? At what point do you at least tell him just lob it in there? Now the Lumberjacks trailing by 13 runs. 2-0 to Braga, swing and a miss on a slider. I mean, for Staunton, they're having a cool, relaxing time out there, just singling on everything and walking as well. As Braga fouls this one towards the Covington dugout, it's 2-2. And if this trend's going to continue, you might as well just let them do it without you hurting yourselves. I know it's baseball, and I know that anything's possible, but sometimes you got to look up at the scoreboard and just say, this might be a little bit too difficult. Brown has an opportunity here for the third out. The 2-2 pitch to Braga, swing and a miss. Julian Braga strikes out with the bases loaded, but not before Staunton puts up 15 runs. 15 runs. Head to the bottom of the third. Staunton leads 17-4. Carter Mills takes over for Owen Pinsence here in the bottom of the third inning.
Now pitching from Eastern Mennonite, number 32, Carter Mills.
Pinsence goes 2 innings, a 3-hit, 4-run, 1 earned. He had 2 walks, 4 strikeouts.
Looks
Looks like some defensive changes as well for Staunton. We'll cover those in a bit. First pitch to Luis Acosta is fastball that misses away. Seems that Tyler Rule is possibly the new right fielder for Staunton. No pitch to Acosta, misses low and away. 2-0. This season, Mills has pitched an inning. He faced 3 batters, gave up a hit and a walk. Didn't allow a run. 2 balls, no strikes. Pitch to Acosta. Taken low and away. 3-0. Acosta first time up against Pinsence, struck out looking. 3-0 pitch to Acosta. Fastball catches the inner edge. 3 balls, 1 strike. Mills was trying to find the strike zone. The 3-1 pitch, a swing and a miss. It's full. Carter Mills, the lowest leverage you can get. He throws strikes even if he gives up 5 home runs. He's still got a large lead. 3-2 pitch to Acosta. He's going to skip in, and it's a walk for Luis Acosta to lead off the bottom of the third. Just hasn't been the stretch in the early innings that the Lumberjacks want to see at home. Against Culpeper, they trailed entering the bottom of the 6th inning, 10-0. They gave up 5 in the first against Culpeper. Staunton have their big inning in the top of the third as Jose Alfonso steps to the batter's box with 15. Little pitch to Alfonso's fastball at the knees for strike 1. Alfonso pops this one up in right field. Looks like Rule out there. Underneath it, he makes the play. So Tyler Rule enters the ball game and gets himself an out. 1 down in the bottom of the third.
Number 4, first baseman Thomas Fratto.
Thomas Fratto steps into the batter's box as Luis Acosta leads off of first base. First pitch to Fratto is strike 1. Fastball in at the knees. Mills readies with an 0-1 offering to Fratto. The pitch. This is inside. Luke Richards seems to be warming up in the Lumberjacks bullpen, and I'll say this quite honestly. I kind of hope that he doesn't enter this ball game. Just doesn't really seem to be a reason for Richards to play today, but we'll see. 1-1 pitch to Fratto is going to ground it foul towards the Covington dugout. 2 strikes on Fratto. Fortunately, there's going to be games like this when you get to the latter half of the VBL season. Some pitchers leave. Guys are on pitch limits, and sometimes you'll see arms that haven't thrown in a while looking for an opportunity, and always doesn't end too well. Fratto lines one into right field. That'll be a single. Luis Acosta moves to second base. First and second with 1 out, and Emery Stevens stepping into the batter's box. Baseball is just a hilarious sport, isn't it? You see the Lumberjacks put up 3 in the bottom of the 2nd inning, and you're thinking, well, after Racing Miranda put up a scoreless top of the 2nd, Lumberjacks might have a real opportunity in this thing. And then Staunton put up the most mind-boggling inning you've ever seen. 15 runs in the top of the 3rd. Stevens takes the first pitch fastball that gets underneath the catcher Barnes, but he's up with it quick enough to hold Luis Acosta at second base. It's the first pitch ball. It's Emery Stevens. Ball, no strikes. Pitch to Stevens. He's going to hit one High into center field. Jose Vasquez giving chase, looking up. He's going to catch it right. No, he's going to lose it. That'll end up being a single for Stevens. Coming around to score is Luis Acosta. But another error on the Braves, and that one even more mind-boggling than the one we saw before. Stevens hit it well enough to back Vasquez up to the wall, and Vasquez up to the wall, puts his glove up, has it in his glove, and then just kind of yanked his glove down, and it came out. What an odd baseball game this has been today. It'll be an E8 that sees Stevens reach first. Luis Acosta comes around to score. Thomas Fratto standing at second base. Now Jake Ambrosio bats. First pitch to Ambrosio. Fastball that misses low and away. One ball, no strikes. Mills pitch. Lined into right field. Single for Jake Ambrosio. I imagine Fratto will be held at third. He will. Tyler Rule comes in. Fires to the first baseman Hassler. It's now the bases loaded for leadoff man Dario Castillo. Nice to see Ambrosio get a hard hit single.
Ambrosio brings up the shortstop, number 2, Dario Castillo.
Castillo steps into the batter's box. Castillo today 1 for 2. He reached on an error his last time up. Came around to score in the second. No pitch to Castillo is an off speed that drops in for strike 1. One pitch to Castillo is going to line it right off the glove of Mills. He thought he had it. He didn't. Only play is going to be at first base, and he's going to throw it away. Another error on the Braves is going to allow Fratto, Stevens, and Ambrosio to score. Now they're going to say this ball went out of play into the bullpen. So we'll see what the official ruling is on where the runners end up going. But, well, this has certainly been a ball game, and now the Braves are almost taking themselves out of run rule territory. Back-to-back plays with an error. Well, not back-to-back, excuse me. 2 plays with an error, and now the head coach is going to go have a talk with Mills after he fired that one into the Covington bullpen. Castillo would have been out if it was a good throw, so I imagine that'll be a error, not a hit. Castillo goes to second on the E1. Ambrosio moves all the way to third as both Fratto and Stevens score. So that's 3 runs this inning, and just like that, it's a 10-run ball game.
Second baseman Frankie Clark.
I mean, at this point, why don't both teams just throw position players out there and see who can have the most runs in an inning? I find it hard to believe that the Lumberjacks are able to match Staunton's 15. Frankie Clark takes the first pitch that's way away. It's 1-0. 1-0 pitch to Clark is a called strike at the knees. 1 ball, 1 strike. One pitch to Clark. Off-speed misses low and inside. 2-1. You never know in baseball. 2-1 pitch to Clark. Taken low and away. And I'm sure for Staunton, they're thinking the same thing that the Lumberjacks were thinking a few innings ago, or I guess at the start of the top of the third. You don't want to use that many pitchers, but the way Mills is trending, his day might be done after only getting 1 out. 3-1 pitch to Clark, upstairs, it's the bases loaded for Janaquindo. I mean, right now the Lumberjacks only trail by a field goal and a touchdown, so you got your big arm out there in Janaquindo. Let's see if you can fire in a field goal, maybe even more. Time taken, and it's only going to be a conversation with Mills, who realistically is only an out away. Or excuse me, swing away, I should say. He can get Oquendo to roll over into a double play in this inning. Oquendo might be the toughest out right now for the Lumberjacks. 2 for 2 in today's ball game. Overall in the season, he's hitting .500. He's 7 for 14.
Right fielder number 33, Dan Oquendo.
Oquendo looking to put some fireworks into the crowd. The old pitch, taken low. For some reason, I feel like I'm not watching baseball right now, but like another sport, like how there's like Irish football or like Gaelic soccer or something like that. That's what I feel like I'm watching right now. But this is real baseball. 1-0 pitch to Oquendo inside, nearly got him. 2 balls, no strikes to the right-handed hitting slugger. Pitch, 2-0 pitch, a swing and a miss from Oquendo. 2 balls, 1 strike. Oquendo readies for the 2-1. I'm sure he wants to do damage. Taking off speed inside, 3 balls, 1 strike. Here's the 3-1. Fouled back up into the netting. It's funny how baseball works, how this game has gone. This has obviously not been the best product of baseball you'll ever see, but it takes games like this to lead these guys the path that they're on. Nick Williams was a 10th round draft pick in the most recent MLB draft. Got drafted by the Washington Nationals. He played a season here in Covington, 6 total games, and he had an .059 batting average. That was when he was 19. He's a great hitter at Michigan State as Oquendo walks, and it's now 17-8. But I think that's just one of the many things that goes to show. A lot of these guys are just on their path, and it might take a couple of tweaks to what they're doing to help them really figure it out. But eventually, sometimes these guys do figure it out, and they do get to that extra level. Jake Ambrosio comes around to score on that walk. Everybody else moves up a bag. Dario Castillo at third. Clark at second. Oquendo at first as Zach Dorlag takes the first pitch strike. Nick Williams might be a batter, but there are plenty of pitchers who have that similar career trajectory too. 0-1 pitch to Dorlag. Fastball that skips in. 1 ball, 1 strike. Dorlag today 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out. And somehow, some way, Luis Acosta looms in the on-deck circle looking to bat around. 1-1 pitch to Dorlag is going to be hit a mile high into center field. Jose Vasquez ranging in. It's going to be taken by the second baseman, Caleb Williams, who does manage to hang on to the baseball. I feel like right now the Braves are at a 50% rate for cleanly gloving pop fly.